Welcome back, everybody. Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans, right here on the YouTube, the Twitch, wherever you listen or view your favorite podcasts. I am joined tonight by the First Lady and Knockout of TNI, Alicia B. Cakey. How you doing, Alicia?
I'm doing wonderful. Busy day, but fun evening with Impact.
There you go. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. On a busy night locally, we got baseball, we got football, we got wrestling. It's busy here in the greater Philadelphia area. But we're here tonight with you, the Impact fans, to review the November 3rd edition of Impact Wrestling on Access TV and the YouTube Ultimate Insiders. But we're in November. Crazy. Always good to see the gang out in force. Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. Remember, if you're just joining us, hit that like button, follow, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. All the super chats are open, the bits, do whatever you want. Yes, and Mayor this weekend, Mayor, we can't forget about the Philadelphia Union going for the title as well. So big stuff happening, no doubt. But we won't waste any time. J-Bone, he may check in at some point, but he's still in the transition with the move. So no Bone Man tonight. But we will do some news. There's not a ton of news, but there's at least one major thing that we got to cover tonight. So let's play the jingle.
Longing for that fake wrestling news. Don't believe anything that you read on the internet.
So some people do say, but the founder showed up on the Down South promotion last night. That would be Jeffrey Jarrett, the man who started TNA, now known as Impact Wrestling. He's been making the rounds, as they say in the business, and now he's going to be handling. It seems like partially live events as with AEW. Alicia, your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett showing up?
Well, isn't that special?
I think that's a very good way to look at it, because I'll always give Jeff credit for starting TNA, playing the part he did, but he's definitely been all over the place these last couple of years. So hopefully for him, it works out as director of business development. So it'll be interesting, but it seems like he's definitely doing live events, which I guess that's what he was briefly doing in WWE before that. I guess did not work out. So hopefully it works out better for him this time around, because that seems to be, from what I heard, my sources had told me. Now this was pre-Panini. They were going to be doing live events, like Impact size live events at like the 2300 arena type places. Okay. That obviously all got thrown out the window. So I don't know if that's the type, because I know at these big venues, ticket sales have not been great lately. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully you got to be careful. I think Impact's doing it the right way, slowly, certain size venues. If they go too big, that can blow up on you. So definitely be careful. But interesting to see. So,
a glacier's pace is always smart.
Yes. But another place, we'll bring it up real quick, because it involves a member, not officially of the roster, but we see him a lot. But Jeff Jarrett, during this rotation, showed up in that promotion that I've been to many times. I believe you've been there as well, Alicia. GCW.
Yeah.
And there was a comment made in an interview somebody, I believe his name
But the truth is, you're nothing but a mid-card donor.
It seems one Matthew Cardona decided to say that he believed GCW was the number 3 wrestling promotion. So I guess he means after number 1 Impact and number 2, whoever you want to decide.
I guess, yeah.
That's what it's got to be.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, GCW is pretty big. They've grown.
It is pretty big. It gets definitely up
exponentially
there
since they started. You know what I mean?
And he's been a big factor in that. So I definitely see what he's doing. But he does kind of work Impact every week. So I know some of the fan base probably took that as a little bit of a slight. Maybe say, well, obviously after Impact, right there. But just interesting take. I know that's been out there before. So let us know in the thoughts what you think about that comment by
I don't see anything wrong with it.
It does. I guess it all depends. He didn't say who the top 2 are. I think you can say Up North is one of the top 2. Then Impact,
of course.
because there's another company. It's not really global, so I don't know if I count that, but so on and so forth. So as we're kind of rounding out, we got some smaller news bits here, but congratulations to Taylor Wilde on having her, after all these years, her first official merchandise on Shop Impact as a t-shirt for Taylor Wilde. So like she had an action figure, but she's never actually had a shirt. And we know that sometimes like there's people on the roster for a while that never get a shirt. So it's great that she actually has one now. So that's cool.
Exciting.
So congratulations to Taylor.
Yay, congratulations.
And I got an extra kudos because she was on my team in bowling at the last bowling event that Impact did. So Taylor was teammate of myself for that night. So
that's pretty fun.
So good job,
I didn't
Taylor.
even realize they did that kind of stuff. Like what? That comes with the titanium package?
They occasionally do it. And so like when they do Vegas, when they did it way back in Florida one time, and then they've been doing it's a Vegas staple. So titanium for Vegas, definitely a good one to do because you do that. I don't know if they promoted it too much, but definitely one of the best perks they have with the titanium. So
that's what's up.
See who from Impact is the best bowler, which is always fun. So
I suck at bowling. I'm a bumper gal myself.
Well, that's part of the fun. It's not really to be good. It's just to have a good time, which it always is.
I got weak hands. You gotta two-handed down the aisle.
So that's pretty much most of the news. And if anyone wants to drop something in the chat, feel free. We'll discuss it as we go along. But we'll get right into the show. First,
just roll right in.
Yeah. First, we'll get in quickly to BTI because once again, they're doing a good job of airing it before. Oh, you know what? Actually, I say BTI, and that reminds me that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's on Impact Plus, but the George Iceman, Josh Alexander series is now, I'm not sure if it started airing or it's about to start airing. I know we heard about that when Iceman was on here a while back. He talked about that they were going to be doing this show coming up, and now it is available. So, like I said, if it's not currently on there, I know there were some issues with Impact Plus over the last couple days. So, but keep your eyes out for that. So, but speaking of BTI, we did have another qualifier match on the show, and that was PJ Black defeating Yuya Uemura to advance in the tournament. So, congratulations to PJ Black, the Darewolf. What are your thoughts on PJ Black there, Alicia?
I think he's all right. I remember him in WWE, and I remember him in Lucha Underground. Yeah, he's pretty dope.
See, and we got Alicia dropping a Lucha Underground reference without J-Bone here. He's missing. He loves the Lucha Underground reference. Who doesn't?
Well, I feel like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, last year, me and Stefan binge watched all the seasons of Lucha Underground, and it was just fun little reminder of a little special bleep on the wrestling timeline.
No, it was a fun one too, and I'm glad I was able, through dumb luck. I know I've told the story before. I was able to go out and to California and see a weekend of tapings of Lucha Underground.
Oh shit!
3, I believe. And it was just a
I'm
random
gonna have to
thing.
rewatch.
Yeah, I think it was season 3, and it was pretty much like a week before the shows were taped. They came out because they would just put the tickets for free, but like they would just randomly go on like Twitter at the time and say tickets are available. You got to register and try to get them. So I happened to do it. I got them. I'm like, okay, book a flight, get out there. But it was the whole thing. Like that's the only time ever where it's more a TV show than wrestling. So you actually go there, you sign a non-disclosure. You can't have your phone. You got to leave you got to leave everything behind. So it's, you go in there, just you,
nice.
And you're watching. So it's quite
a hot set.
So that was definitely a good time. But that also now reminds me of something I was at this past weekend. And I know you were at something different this past weekend.
Yes.
Because I was at MLW on Sunday featuring, well, he's now known as Cesar Duran, but Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground, who was like the head honcho. El Jefe.
Oh,
wow. So that reminded me of that. Obviously, Taya is their women's champion there. So some Impact connection. But I know you were at a promotion that I've been at many times previously, and that's ICW No Holds Barred for like a Halloween type show. How was that?
That was a lot of fun. I always like going to their shows. I don't know. Every match was fun. It was just deathmatch, Lollapalooza. Loved it.
Now, anything get close to you? Like I know sometimes, like you say, like, you'll be hanging in the back, but you could still get.
GA, but GA apparently in this place, it's at the Hart Ballroom, in Newark.
Well, I've been there. It's not a big place.
GA is basically like front row. I was downstairs. Okay. I got hit with a lot of shrapnel. It was fun. I always know I had a big witch hat on because I dressed up for the occasion. So luckily that helps protect the face.
Always good to have something to protect you at those shows, no doubt.
Yes.
I know usually, like I know at times, like sometimes if I'm bringing something, like I know when KTB was doing a lot of shows there, I'd have like the foam hand from Jonesy, and I'd be like foam hand, or like one of like the little fat heads, because that's kind of where I got the Joe idea. Was one of my friends, Evan, that's always had a lot of the different GCW, ICW shows. He would bring different heads. He would make heads of the different wrestlers at the promotion. So sometimes I have a handful of just random heads from different wrestlers.
Nice.
So I'd be like, all right, block. But definitely it's not for everybody, but if I say experience all type of wrestling, including, because I know some people might be a little hesitant. It's still an art, wrestling. Even deathmatch wrestling is an art, and it can be very entertaining. But once again, I grew up ECW, so I'm a little different, probably.
We're just built different, I guess.
Yes. And
love a good deathmatch wrestling.
Speaking of, we got referee Daniel Spencer in the house.
End of the show.
Yes. So, but now that we went over BTI, now we can actually start the review for the November 3rd edition of Impact Wrestling. And we start out just like on BTI, there was the X Division title tournament, which will be decided in Louisville, Kentucky at Overdrive. We get an opening contest featuring former two-time X Division champion Kenny King against the former X Division champion before Kazarian defeated him, Mike Bailey. Good way to start the show, X Division, no doubt. Alicia, what'd you think of this contest here?
I didn't know who was going to win.
Two guys that could win this, no doubt. Like that could have went all the way in this tournament, you would think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But of course, there could be only one, and Speedball got the win on this one. Very enjoyable match. He was the Highlander, exactly. There could be only one. Sorry. Yeah, it's just fun. And as I always like to say, what an energizing way to start the show. And that's with the X Division. Can't go wrong. Great match.
No doubt. It's going to be interesting to see because obviously Mike Bailey, he was, and I like how they did kind of the tail of the tape, Tom and Matt, where like you really got to see like how good that run was with the title from Mike Bailey, that he was just short of Rich Swann defenses. What was 9 versus 10? That's a lot of defenses of that title because you pretty much saw him defending it almost. Like it almost felt like weekly, but it was at least like every couple weeks he was defending that title. So
yeah,
but great job with that, Kenny King. One of my, it's great to see him back at the company, no doubt, because I know we lost some Honor No More, and we'll get into a lot of repercussions still, which was good to see during the initial cold open. Well, after the cold open, and they kind of went into it, is that they reminded us about like the Kingdom being fired again, keeping it all fresh in our mind. So once again, very good contest to start it off. So the winner here, obviously, but you know what, that was the first match, but that reminded me, the Honor No More, we did start out with Eddie in the Vegas desert, challenging PCO, pretty much saying he's not going to leave Vegas. So that was the actual cold open. And then we got into the X Division X Division qualifying match to start. So obviously big win for Mike Bailey, getting in now to the semifinals. So we go from there. And we see Giselle Shaw backstage, giving out prints of the photo taken last week when she was holding up the Knockouts title. And due to that distraction, Vexed lost the match. And Mickie James, she ain't retired. The last rodeo did not work out. So she pretty much is going that like she wants to give them the picture. They don't want any part of that. So they're pretty much confronting her on it. And right as they're about to kind of give her the boot, she's like, I'm leaving. I'm breaking up with you.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah. So they both. So the connection now, the Giselle Vex connection, it's over. It blew up.
Yes. I'm glad this is like a Band-Aid. Just ripped it off quick and be done with it. As we've heard in the past couple of weeks, I've been very into Giselle just doing her own thing, and VXT Vexed. Sorry, it's the BBD. Anyway, and them doing their own thing, because I think they're all just capable in their own lanes and are strong enough where they didn't really need the combination of the trio. So this is good.
it seemed like a good temporary team up, but it didn't need to be long term. So I think Vex can stand on their own, and that was a good way to kind of end it. So, but then we stick with knockouts because we get a singles match now. It is Savannah Evans with Tasha Steelz against JesSICKa with the Death Dolls. And due to this, I had to support JesSICKa because she's sick.
I'm still waiting on my Death Dolls shirt.
Oh no!
I haven't even got a shipping update yet. I'm so sad. Yeah, it's okay. Anyway,
come on.
It's worth the wait. Anyway, so this was kind of surprising to me because clearly they have big plans for Tasha and Savannah, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do in that direction. But I'm also concerned because it was JesSICKa that took the pinfall here. They were riding so high, with the Death Dolls getting their last big win last time we saw them. So we'll just have to see. But clearly we got plans for Savannah, and I'm excited for that because I feel like she's ready for more screen time here. So
and we do find out later in the show that it's official. At Overdrive, the Death Dolls are defending the Knockouts World Tag Titles against Tasha and Savannah.
Oh, shit. So they're tag team.
So now once we see how it kind of played out, now you kind of understand probably she needed to get a win. Although there was some outside shenanigans, but it was still a pretty legit win. I wouldn't say there was stuff going on the outside that maybe distracted JesSICKa, but it was still a clean win for Savannah inside the ring. So now they're getting rewarded with that title shot.
Yeah, it's exciting. Good stuff in the Knockouts division, as always.
Yes. That's right. So Overdrive is starting to shape up. Louisville, Kentucky. Daniel Spencer, as he said, his hometown. So check it out. So we go from there, and we get, once again, we're heavy on the knockouts. We get once it's been a little bit, a vignette of Killer Kelly going around backstage, and she's looking for fresh meat, and she runs into someone we've seen in Impact before, a local to the Vegas wrestling, a regular in the Vegas wrestling scene, Sandra Moon. So she kind of picks her out because she says, "Oh, I'm Sandra," and So I think we can be looking forward to a match between Killer Kelly and Sandra Moon. Now, is that next week? I'm guessing because of seeing that. But what'd you think of seeing more of the backstage of Killer Kelly here?
I think it helps play into her character. I'm not 100% sure, but wherever she is, I'm sold on it, as I keep saying. But doing the backstage stuff and doing kind of the stuff they started out strong with her with is probably smart as far as the character they're trying to build for her. So,
yeah, a lot of good backstage character work tonight. Like we see it here. We get a follow-up next, once again, out in like the Vegas desert with Eddie Edwards, once again, kind of, he's waiting for PCO. He's kind of calling out for PCO. Short, just real quick. But once again, we're telling stories right now backstage. We get a lot of this tonight. So that was good. And I believe that we go to commercial, comes back. They're promoting like Hard to Kill. And then we get Steve Macklin doing like a direct to the camera promo. Pretty much going over what we saw at the Fallout after Bound for Glory. That he's tired of waiting for his chance at the world title. You got everybody getting in line. You got Bully Ray politicking to get into the call your shot and get that. You got Kazarian, option C. You got Bobby Fish showing up for a cup of coffee and getting a title shot for just because. So he's
take
like
a number.
Yeah, he's like, I want my title shot. So how soon will we get it? Because it almost seemed like we keep talking about Macklin, and it's like it's always like he's got momentum. Then he feels
he's got to put that face paint on.
Oh, there you go. The Punisher face
it's
paint.
The face paint. He's got to get that face paint going. Once that's in place, he's going right to the top.
And that's the thing. Like, how's he going to get to the top? How's he going? Because we know Kazarian's there. We know Bully Ray's there. What's going to be his avenue? That he's cutting the promo. It seems like he has a plan. He's going to tag him, bag him, mayhem for all. Can he do it? Can he do it? And can he do it in the near future? Or is this just going to be a long storyline to play out? Seems like there's so many people in this title picture right now.
I feel like I don't know. I'm more interested in Macklin and Kazarian's climb towards the belt as opposed to whatever they're doing with Bully. But that's just my personal opinion.
Can't trust Bully. Don't remember.
I know. We're told every week he's a backstabber. He'll snatch candy out of your baby's hand, apparently, steal $20 out of your mom's purse.
That's
you can't trust Bully Ray.
Never forget. So we go to that.
With peace and love.
Peace and love. We go to the major players backstage. That they're going to go after Heath and Rhino. They're having fun at Heath and Rhino's expense. Like, what year is this? But then this is a good one. This is a good one. They say his name, and who comes out from a refrigerator door? He's in the deep freeze refrigerator. Joe Hendry.
Oh, Jesus. I thought I was in the other room. I missed this segment.
You missed this one? Okay.
But I heard the Joe Hendry shit and was like, oh, it's Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry comes out, and this is fantastic because everything Joe Hendry does is fantastic.
Gold, solid gold.
So he comes out, and he goes, he just kind of dismisses Brian Myers and talks directly to the digital media title because it's not being shown the attention it deserves. So he wants he's eyeing up that digital media title. We find out that will be next week. Brian Myers versus Joe Hendry for the digital media title. Put some respect on the digital media game.
I think I like Joe Hendry so much because of the fact that he's audacious. It's just the audacity with him. It's unbelievable. I support it.
He just appears wherever he wants.
Just be careful, though, because where Joe Hendry shows up, your life's going to be ruined. But apparently you're going to be really happy because it was Joe Hendry that did it.
Hey, I'm motivated. Are you in the chat motivated?
Look, I'm losing my mind over here.
Well, that's a good
gimmick.
That's prestigious.
I believe.
We all believe. Oh yes, remember the whole there here. $8 for that blue check. Remember that was the whole thing with Bhupinder. Bhupinder. Shortly, you could spend $8 and get a blue check. That's all.
A lot of people were saying that apparently with this thing, what that means is that basically anybody could buy an official handle. So you could be any Joe Schmo from Idaho and be like, oh, well, I want to be like, say, Johnny Depp or somebody. And then boom, you get the blue check mark. Anybody, and you could just it's like basically a good way to start scamming people, allegedly. Like, what a weird.
Oh yeah. Everyone.
Everybody gets a blue check mark. You just got to pay $8 for no other features.
It'll just be funny if that all happens, and then looking back at that storyline, the blue check storyline is it's amusing. So,
well, I'll just be on the cool side with no check mark. That's how you know I'm verified, is no check mark.
Well, you want to know what's cool, Alicia? This next segment. We get a cinematic match for, it feels like it's been a while since we had a cinematic match.
Yes.
We get a cinematic buried alive in the Las Vegas desert. Eddie Edwards, PCO. What'd you think of this?
It was very dark.
It was dark. I'm sure that was intentional.
I'm a little,
it was kind of one light up in the distance.
From what I could see, they clobbered the ever-living piss and shit out of each other. And
there
Eddie
was
Edwards
one rock that saw a lot of action. The bump rock, I call it.
What was it? An abyss rock?
It may have been an abyss rock.
Did PCO crush Eddie Edwards' skull with it, as Abyss did in the Super Mega Tag Team Tournament of Death?
It was. I thought near the end when PCO picked back up the rock again, I thought we might get like a headshot rock, but we did not. They stopped there with probably the right call. Probably a little too.
Maybe they got to tone down the death on Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit too much to go that far. That's where the craziness we might have came in. But it was good. Critical Sting. It was definitely some 2008 stuff. Like, it felt like the early kind of Anthem regime that was doing a lot of cinematic.
Yeah, it was like 2017 into 2018. I like cinematic stuff. I feel like when it's applied correctly and under the right terms, it's chef's kiss. It's just a nice touch.
Yeah, and PCO is the perfect person to have the French Canadian Frankenstein is perfect in the role of a cinematic match. It's still Halloween fallout, Alicia.
I got
now.
Sami.
Remember last week we were talking about, it's not like no Halloween theming. You got a buried alive match coming out of Halloween.
What?
So that kind of fit the season. Buried alive post Halloween.
Oh, post Halloween. Yeah, it's perfect. It's still spooky season. As long as your decorations are up, it's still spooky season.
Yeah, it's still spooky. Your decorations are still up?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take them down this weekend because I'm not insane, but because they've been up since September. I'm a little sick of looking at them. Right. But yeah, we love Halloween. I still got the mug. I'm still working on the candy we didn't hand out. I got 3 more trick-or-treaters than last year, which was 3. So 6 altogether. And a bucket full of candy.
Speaking of Halloween, I know there wasn't many, but did some trick-or-treaters costumes stick out among the others? Is there like one costume you saw and you went, oh, that was a good costume?
There was a kid who was a hot dog. And I feel like that's a classic. You can't really beat that.
You can't go wrong with a hot dog. You can't go wrong with a hot dog.
The one thing I did notice is like this young generation of kids does not know how to like trick or treat. It's like the parents they don't know. And when they do, they feel like it I don't know. Maybe they just get awkward because like kids aren't social in social settings so much anymore, so they don't really have the enthusiasm like to yell trick or treat.
So they don't even say anything. They just like kind of
like the parents got to remind them like, yo, you got to say trick or treat, but they just like hold their bags up and like shuffle their feet. Like I remember I was a kid and we were just running house to house like trick or treat. It's just like amped, ready to go. Pillowcases full.
Pillowcase. Multiple
dude. I don't know. Maybe we just grew up in a different time, but from like after school till we had to come home, like we were out there till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but that's how our generation grew up that way. It's just like go outside, come back sometime when it's dark.
Hey, don't die.
Yes. Don't get into a vehicle with anyone. That's about it. Don't get abducted. Other than that,
wait, here's a glow stick.
Well, speaking of that was what I would say the best one was. There was a kid that came as Marshmallow, the DJ.
Yeah, that's popular.
So it had like a light up head, like light up hands. I'm like, Marshmallow.
Yeah, all DJ right. Marshmallow. Yeah, that's really. I didn't realize this, but DJ Marshmallow is like really popular amongst kids because they make the costumes, they have all the accessories and stuff. And I
just wouldn't have expected it.
There's got to be like a game that he's featured in that's like targeted towards kids that they're
probably
like Fortnite or yeah. But anyway, yeah, the hot dog kid was fun. That was good.
Hot dog. So let us know. Let us know in the comments about favorite costumes at Halloween, or maybe going old school when you were a kid. Your favorite costume, because I remember real old school. I remember going in a Halloween parade when you wore the plastic with the little string.
Oh yeah,
like Frankenstein. That's what made me think of it, because I was not a French Canadian Frankenstein, but I was a little Frankenstein. I was a Billenstein back then. But my favorite costume ever was being Terminator 2 era Arnold, and I did like the hardcore makeup with like the light up eye as like
nice. That's a good one. Classic.
That's when you could still go trick or treating with like a fake machine gun.
Yeah.
Can't do that no more.
Yeah.
So
nope.
That's the Halloween conversation. That's the. How about you, Alicia? Though any memorable costumes?
Oh God, yeah, a couple. One year, my grandma made me a flapper costume, like from scratch. Like she hand sewed everything, and I still have that actually. It's in good condition. I have that. I was a witch a lot of years. Like Hocus Pocus came out when I was like 6 years old. So like, oh yeah, witches is so cool.
It was a good standby. Like, cause I was like a Dracula vampire before. I was the devil once again. I think it was the year after.
There's a Little Mermaid once.
Did like the heavy makeup with like a red thing that like made my face look different. So
I got more creative as I got older. Like for 1 year when I was like in my 20s, I did the Black Dahlia, and I did the full special effects makeup up the side of my face and stuff, and like gored up. It's my only gore costume. It turned out really cool. I was Sam from Trick or Treat 1 year, the year I got engaged.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
But I guess the way to end this Halloween talk is this Buried Alive match. PCO got buried alive.
No, he didn't. He's not human. He never died.
He is not human. You can still see parts of him. Eddie didn't do a great job burying him the whole way.
Did he? I looked away. Did he do it with a shovel?
He just threw a shovel. Well, he was hitting
a couple puddles.
And he was, he put enough on him to call it. But I have a feeling we may revisit that scene in a future episode of Impact Wrestling. So we'll see what happens.
There's going to be a cinematic shot of PCO's hand coming out of the dirt.
That's what it feels like.
And like lightning bolts, because that's a big thing with him too. I don't know if anyone's familiar with like when PCO really started this gimmick, how he was getting electric shocked with car batteries and stuff.
Estro.
Yep.
Yeah. So
good times.
We'll see what happens there, but I definitely give this cinematic match 2 thumbs up.
2 snaps and a Cheerio and 5 flaming briquettes, Sue Johansson style.
Well, now we go, continuing the spooky season. Taylor Wilde backstage. She gets her witchy ways at times. But with Mickey James, talking about the next week, it's going to be Chelsea Green, who I know has been coming up in the chat. There's still a lot of rumors out there that Chelsea's leaving Impact. Once again, not confirmed. I think people took a tweet from last week, but to me, it looked like because dirt sheets are saying different things, but I'll wait to see.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Right now, she's in Impact Wrestling. But next week, she's going against Mickie James in the last rodeo. So Taylor's now like, she's like, okay, yeah, like, you know, Deanna's going to be in her corner. It's like, I'll be in your corner, Mickie. Mickie doesn't want it. She says she's got to do it on her own. And then Taylor's like, all right, well, I hope to see you on the other side. And Mickey's like, what? Like how, like I could lose? Well,
think about it. I feel like this is like premonition a little bit, or foreshadowing. I don't know, because she said the exact same words when she went against Deanna to Chelsea. Like, oh, I don't need any help, and da-da-da-da-da. And lo and behold, Chelsea came out and pulled the old swerve on her. So...
Yeah, and she does mention that about Chelsea. Like, she's the one that kind of, like, even though she lost to her twice, she stepped away. Chelsea's the one that kind of got her going in this, like, refocused almost.
Yeah, because of that, yeah.
So, well, we'll see, but... And she's got her work cut out for her against Chelsea. She was 0-2. She lost those couple matches to her. But she'll always be.
Hardcore country!
Hardcore country!
We go from hardcore country to a couple hardcore wrestlers. Sami Callihan and Eric Young. But this one, we really, I guess, technically, Sami, who's the ref in this match? I don't know if Daniel Spencer's here. I'm not sure if this was technically a win by DQ or a no contest, because we saw the gang get involved in this one. Violent by Design, all the followers get in, attack Sami Callihan. And we get a reveal. 2 new members of Violent by Design. One that we've seen recently in the X Division tourney, and that would be one Alan Angels showed up, who last week
a surprise.
When we saw him was looking a little heelish. Everyone was kind of like he was kind of he seemed angry. He seemed extra angry in that match. But he shows up. And a former member of the Ascension, who we did see once on Impact when they were in Florida previously, Big Con, who obviously was part of the Ascension tag team a few years ago. But those two are revealed to be now in Violent by Design. What do you think about these new additions, Violent by Design? And what do you think of EY getting Sami all bloody in this match? Well,
that was to be expected, and especially once everyone came out and started jumping on Sami, you know, it's going to happen. But I was actually surprised because, again, we were talking about Alan Angels having a more heel edge than he's had in past times he showed up on the show. But I didn't expect it to go in this drastic of an angle. But I think these 2 new members are a good fit. Don't fill the shoes of Mr. Joe Doring, but you know, for the meantime, I think EY and Diener are up to something or onto something with this. Okay. But that in turn brings up my next statement. Well, if they got a crew, that means Sami's maybe going to need a crew. And who would be in Sami's crew?
Ooh. Are you saying outside of the company or?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm not that type of person who likes to.
He has a crew.
To think he does have a crew. He does have a hypothetical crew. Whether or not some of those members might return remains to be seen. It'd be cool. Fulton we haven't seen in a while, and Jay Christ. But maybe he has a new crew because it's not like he doesn't have kind of friends in the business. I mean, who knows? I mean, can you picture him on a team with like Rich Swann and Eddie Edwards and you know what I mean? All the people who are begrudgingly friendly towards him.
They're not your friends.
Yeah.
Crew.
They're not your friends' friends.
Well, remember, he had his show, Sami and Friends was his Impact Plus show.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I don't know. I could just be talking out of my ass too. Like I said, I'm not great at this fantasy booking bullshit, but it gives me a vibe that this could turn into like a crew for crew situation.
Could be. And I like Alan Angels and Big Con. My guess is maybe I may have been booing at the time because poor Sami was getting accosted. But
of course we're going to boo, BBB.
Yeah, but Joe Doring. I obviously have full support of Joe Doring.
Oh yeah, not boo.
Y and Diener and the crew, but the angle they're doing now with all the like henchmen, that's a little too heelish. I don't think Joe would approve. Just my thoughts. Can't trust.
We're looking at a new entity of Violent by Design, and when you're called Violent by Design, you could only get more violenter by design.
Well,
logic. Get your butt out of them.
There we go. We go backstage to Jordan Grace, who's like walking into her locker room, and at first, because you see all these pictures on the wall. At first, I'm like, wait a second, is that Masha coming back? Because I see all these photos, but it wasn't Masha. Because we see, well, he's not going by Jay with an I. Jesse just says Jay Vidal. He's the social media manager and all that for Giselle, and but that next week we're going to get the knockout title match, Giselle versus Jordan. And but once again, I think Jordan, she's been killing it in the ring lately, the top of her game.
Yeah,
and even in these promos, I thought this was a great the whole style of this. I think was good. Like I think their backstage segments were excellent tonight.
Yes,
I think the production was like next level. I don't know if that's partly because of what they were doing in Sam's Town. I don't know if it was equipment, but it was, I think, home run on the production.
Agreed.
This just looked great. The lighting, everything. Like I know, like they were using colored lights a lot more. Like I think it was giving a vibe. I know some people they want stuff very bright, but I think that washes it out. I think they were giving.
Gotta set an aesthetic.
Yeah, like it's Sin City. And you're kind of giving everything that kind of vibe, which I liked. So we go from that, and we get an interesting matchup here. Moose versus Ace Austin. Obviously representing the Bullet Club with Chris Bay. But the key to this match is who gets involved. A little call your shot gauntlet comes out during this and messes with the new scumbag of Impact Wrestling, Moose. Bully Ray gets involved here. Well, he doesn't get involved in the match, but he distracts Moose enough where he kind of
Ace gets the win, yeah.
Ace takes advantage. Big win for Ace Austin over Moose.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? What do you think about this? You got something between Moose and Bully Ray going on right here.
But there's also something with Bay and Ace, but I can't pinpoint what's going on. Like, is this all a ruse being stirred up by them? Like, like playing mind games a little bit, pitting people against each other. Like sometimes the power of suggestion is more powerful than actual action. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Again, I tend to get a little wild with these theories here, but there's just, for them to be involved for so many weeks now, I feel like there's some backhanded shit going down.
And it could be because they are obviously the main representation of the Bullet Club right now in Impact Wrestling. And
the only representation
right now. So it would not shock me if you see these guys taking on a bigger, not just a wrestling role, but more storyline role, because the Bullet Club's been a huge storyline for ever since the Good Brothers initially came over. And if they're not here to be part of stuff and you're still going to be Bullet Club heavy, they're going to have to take on bigger roles in a lot of these storylines. So there could be something big brewing with them. And we're seeing, you're talking about factions earlier, BBD we see growing. Is Bullet Club going to grow in Impact Wrestling?
We'll just have to see. There could be a couple of different groups that might grow. Bullet Club, maybe Sami. I think now that Honor No More is gone, there's room to expand some groups. So
yeah, Honor No More was taking a big piece of the show, and now obviously with them not really around, there is room for some other groups to kind of show themselves more so. And Bullet Club could be one of them, along with obviously now Violent by Design. So,
and I'm really big on that legit group versus legit group kind of rivalry. So fingers crossed.
And I know we were supposed to have Lockdown, but we haven't had a big group steel cage match in some time. It feels like they got to build up to that at some point. And let's not forget, I know it's been mentioned in the chat, the flashbacks every week have been Bully Ray. This was obviously where he turned with the aces and eights on Jeff Hardy.
Oh.
So aces and eights
versus Bullet Club.
You still got theirs, because what the last time we saw aces and eights was down in Florida? I think it was down in Florida.
I don't know.
Going back to Florida. So who knows? Who knows?
It all blends together.
So something to keep an eye on. Hey, somehow I got through all this and haven't said Team Canada's coming back yet. How? I don't know. I always say Team Canada's coming back.
It should have been a thing.
As of now, though, I know that's just me trying to speak it into existence.
Yeah, well, that's good, though.
3 or 4 years later, it might happen. We'll see. I see Armin here asking. I was at Battle Riot because I believe that did just air also tonight. Because why not throw another thing at it? That's Battle Riot from quite a while back. I believe that was July something or other up in New York. But now Impact. So everywhere at once. But good show. Check it out. No doubt. So obviously after that match, we get the main event. And this is an interesting main event here because you have Aussie Open, who, well, I guess it has aired, like it was a live show, because the Motor City Machine Guns defeated them at New Japan Strong.
Oh yeah.
For their titles. So we get them facing Impact World Champion Josh Alexander, and who we know will be facing Josh at Overdrive for that title. The option C being used. So former X Division champion Frankie Kazarian. But now they're teaming. And a lot of times when you see these team ups against a obviously established team, it sometimes doesn't go well. But in this situation, they get the win. Frankie gets the win. He actually gets the pin in this match, which definitely surprised me. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, that's something, be friction, like they can't team together, and then Aussie Open will steal a win from these guys. But no, Frankie gets this win. So definitely that it was him, not Josh, gives him a little momentum heading into that world title match. What did you think of this one?
Wow, Frankie and Josh worked together like a well-oiled machine. It seems like they're on the same page and on the first of the winning streak. So it's interesting. Good to see Aussie Open back again, though. I feel like they're becoming a little more frequent in their appearances on Impact, and I think that's great for them. Gets them a little more known in the United States if people aren't that familiar. It's been fun. I think they got great chemistry with each other too. So definitely a team that fits in right at Impact. They got that vibe.
You could see they were definitely doing, obviously, a lot of the United Empire, like they were throwing the hand gestures up. Does that mean, like, because obviously the leader of that group, that you got another faction, that's Will Ospreay's group. Who
is it?
Yeah, that he leads that group. So
are we going to be seeing Will?
I don't know. It seems like it's something nobody's saying anything about. Although Will, I don't think has said anything recently, but a couple months ago, and he's not somebody that normally speaks. Like he had that little run with TNA when they were in the UK years ago.
I remember,
and like he hated it. So he usually does not speak glowingly of the company. Like whatever reason, he didn't like how that went down. So, but then he's been kind of talking up Impact when he's asked about it recently. And now you have members of his group in Impact. Will we see Will Ospreay at some point? Maybe build up.
Never
like this could be a long build. We keep seeing Aussie Open. I'm thrilled. I think just like when we saw Finjuice, I think Aussie Open, ton of talent. As years go on, they're probably going to be one of the best tag teams in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So having them have a run here is fine by me. And maybe it does result in a 6-man tag, something with Will Ospreay at some point. Maybe as we approach a Rebellion or Slammiversary, I think that'd be pretty cool. And there we go. Yeah. Mandrews, who I believe is still a free agent. Wouldn't mind seeing Mandrews back. But that's our main event. Definitely another good episode of Impact Wrestling. And we already know it's kind of building up as we head into Overdrive. And then also, obviously, getting towards Hard to Kill to start the year. So, Alicia, any final thoughts on this episode? What's maybe your biggest takeaway from tonight?
A lot of things are brewing, and we have some exciting weeks ahead of us.
Yeah, no, I think definitely a very good loop that they did. So there's a lot of good content coming down the pike here as we get into Overdrive on that Friday night. Only 2 weeks out now, so it'll be here before you know it. So we got that build to those live monthly shows, which is fantastic. So definitely something to keep your eyes on the product these next couple of weeks, see how it all unfolds and what happens at Overdrive, because I think we're going to see some major things. We know for sure we're getting a new X Division champion. That's already happening. But what else is going to happen? We'll definitely have to be staying tuned to find out. But Alicia, in the meantime, where can people find you while not here on TNI?
In hell. You can find me under the handle Alicia B. Cakey on Instagram, Twitter, and lurking in the Discord. Yes.
Always a good place. Always a good place to find, because the Discord is where the talk never stops. And TV
never fucking stops.
Yes, lockdown was supposed to be March of 2020. So a real bad time to have a show. I know Scott recently gave an interview up, I believe it was for Canadian television, about the Windsor tapings that will be happening next year. Confirmed going back there, which is awesome. Looking forward to heading back. And he mentioned the last two events. Well, the last event they had was called, what was it? It was the Kentucky taping. Well, technically it was February, but the last special, it was. Oh, come on! So someone in the chat remind me on what it was. but it was. Well, it was going to be followed by lockdown. There was Outbreak. It was Outbreak. So it was kind of weird timing. Their last Impact Plus special was Outbreak, and then it was going to go into lockdown, which just mimicked the world at the time, which was crazy. So, what a full circle now where we're getting back to. But Windsor, crazy crowd there. They love their wrestling. It's going to be great to see it return. So looking forward to that, along with a bunch of good shows coming up. But in the meantime, I think most people know where to find me. My name is William M. Gardner, mainly the Twitter. Maybe someday again the Inside. Who knows? Maybe the world will start making me go more to Instagram. You never know. Obviously, follow the podcast. We Talk Impact on the Twitter. Total Nonstop Impact on all the different socials, on every major podcast platform. Pro Wrestling Tees, Spreadshirt, Patreon, guys. I definitely got to. I got to have a talk with some of the others because sadly I do not have access to the Patreon. So I want to get you content. I'll talk to the guys. We'll definitely get something going. Hopefully, maybe even this weekend. So stay tuned for that. We'll definitely put something out on the in the Discord. So stay tuned. Once again, everybody, thanks for joining us. If you didn't catch us live, feel free, drop comments in there. Let everybody know. Let everybody know where you're going to watch. Get your fill for Impact Wrestling. We appreciate the support and spread it around. Always good to see new names. Obviously, all the TNI fam that's here, you're more than appreciated. You keep us going. But definitely let people know. We always want to get more people as we build into the pay-per-views, as we build towards the end of the year. Hopefully we do another like holiday thing, maybe on Twitch, raise money for some charity. Again, that's always good. So definitely hop on, get your support out there. We appreciate it. But Alicia, I think we're calling this a show tonight. That's it.
East Coast crew out.
East Coast crew. So I think there's a good chance maybe next week we get a return of the Bone Man, and who knows? I'm hearing maybe some other people might be squirming their way back onto the show in the near future. So we can only hope. Fingers crossed. But until then, thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you later.